In-depth sports coverage from The Athletic is now just £1 a month with an introductory offer. See the link in the description to sign up. Signing Kai Havertz wasn't easy, nor was it just a solitary summer's labour, because Chelsea put a great deal of time and effort into luring the 21-year-old to West London. In fact, the pursuit began over a year ago when they were preparing for FIFA's transfer ban to take effect. Chelsea were going to make amends for their inability to spend over the next 2 windows by making ambitious moves for some of the finest players in the game. And by that point, Havertz had already been watched on numerous occasions. Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Liverpool and Manchester United had all made contact with the players' representatives over the previous 18 months to gauge whether they could be at the front of the queue whenever Havertz decided to leave Bayer Leverkusen. Chelsea knew that they had to do the same. And, as understood by The Athletic, conversations were initiated late April, early May 2019. It was made very clear the club had an ambitious project in mind, that they would be spending very heavily once acquisitions could be made again, and Havertz was very much in their thoughts. There has been some form of contact between the two camps ever since. Still, it has taken a combination of a lot of work, skill and luck to make this switch happen. Bayer Leverkusen's £107.6 million asking price in the summer of 2019 was sufficient to scare away any other suitors. Even Bayern Munich, who'd gone into great detail with the German international over where he would fit into their team and tactical shape. Surprisingly, Bayern never actually ended up making an official offer for Havertz this year either, preferring to spend £40.9 million on Manchester City's Leroy Sané instead, and gambling on Thomas Müller's continued renaissance. Manchester United also gave a noteworthy presentation of their own last year, but it didn't go any further. Perhaps because they'd made a move for Bruno Fernandes in January and then focused on a different Bundesliga starlet in Jadon Sancho. It's believed that Real Madrid was Havertz's preferred destination for a long period though. The glamour of the Bernabeu is hard to ignore for many, and even when Chelsea began stepping up their efforts earlier this year, there was a suspicion that he was just waiting for the La Liga club to make a move. So, how did Chelsea emerge victorious? Well, the heavy impact on football finances caused by COVID-19 certainly played a part, and the likes of Real Madrid and Bayern hoped Havertz might stay at Bayer Leverkusen another season and put something in place to join them the following year. But Havertz felt the time had come to leave Bayer, especially after they'd failed to qualify for the Champions League. As far as he was concerned, he'd outgrown the team and needed another challenge. And with 2 years remaining on his contract, Bayer Leverkusen weren't willing to run the risk of his valuation decreasing. So it's fair to say that the timing couldn't have gone any better for Chelsea, who still had sizable funds in place. But it would be wrong to suggest that Havertz had merely settled for a move to the best option available. Meeting Bayer Leverkusen's €100 million asking price was always going to be difficult, and it's understood that in June, Chelsea's director and main negotiator Marina Granovskaya felt the two clubs were a long way away from an agreement. But importantly, the club sent a significant message to Havertz by signing fellow Germany international Timo Werner from RB Leipzig for £47 million. With the signature of Hakim Ziyech secured in February too, it showed that Chelsea were living up to their promise to be ambitious. And then Frank Lampard got involved. And in this market, he's proving to be Chelsea's ace in the pack. His powers of persuasion were used to good effect with both Ziyech and Werner. Now Havertz's name can be added to that list too. He reached out towards the end of the Bundesliga season and made a strong impression. He laid out his vision of attacking football with young players at the fore, explaining how he was in the process of building a new team and that Havertz was going to be one of its linchpins. There was a feeling of freshness, a club with a growing momentum, and it was something Havertz wanted to be part of. By the end of the conversation, he was full of excitement. He was convinced Chelsea were going to be a lot of fun. And other options weren't as appealing. Real Madrid and Barcelona both have aging squads and a range of issues, allowing Chelsea to come across as the more enticing adventure. And Granovskaya has naturally been key to the negotiations too. Agreement over a final fee was difficult to find, but a breakthrough of sorts was made in the past 3 weeks when she met with Leverkusen officials in the south of France. Leverkusen were aware that Granovskaya had a reputation for being charming, but they were determined not to fall for it or to allow a reduction in the €100 million fee. The Bundesliga club's chief executive Fernando Caro is a tough negotiator too, and his background outside of football, he was formerly CEO of a major business-to-business logistics company, made him a formidable opponent. So, Chelsea will reportedly pay an initial figure of over £62 million plus add-ons. Bayer Leverkusen won't reveal the structure of the deal, but they're confident of receiving the full asking price over time. Given Kai Havertz's deserved reputation and his rare combination of abilities, the real winner was always likely to be whichever side he ended up playing for. And after an 18-month pursuit, that privilege, and this coup, belongs to Chelsea, Lampard and Granovskaya. The Athletic is in-depth sports coverage that helps fans see the game from every angle. And Tifo is delighted to be able to offer full access to The Athletic now for just £1 per month. See the link in the description for details of this introductory offer. For football fans, that's access to the writing of journalists dedicated to your team, plus David Ornstein, Phil Hay, Daniel Taylor and many more. Not to mention over 400 full-time writers offering inside access and independent analysis of every team that you follow across every league that you care about. Get local expertise and unmatched league-wide perspective. The Athletic's writers are in the bubble, on the field and behind the scenes as it all happens. Catch up, go deep and join the conversation on the most important happenings in sports.